What's going on, everybody? So as you can see behind me, it just went from this to this. Welcome to Ohio, everybody. But looking at this at a positive side, I'm gonna be able to do some Grom riding here soon. There's a few good days in the forecast this week that I'm gonna be able to go riding. So of course, I'm gonna take you guys along with me. But before I get to go riding this week, I'm sick and tired of seeing that fender. So as you already saw in the title, let's get right into it. All right, guys, so I got the Grom pulled up here. I already took the license plate off, so I don't have to blur it out in the video. But in most of my Grom videos, you guys have been on me about getting a Fender Eliminator, and honestly, I just didn't want to spend the money. I think it's ridiculous that some companies are selling Eliminator kits for over $100. Because literally all it is a piece of metal that was cut and bent by a machine, and these companies are selling them for ridiculous amounts of money, making over 95% of what it actually cost them to make it. So like the title says, guys, we're gonna be making our own. And you might be wondering, what does that look like? So I don't have a metal shop by any means, nor do I have any metal that I can really use to bend. So we're kind of just gonna wing it and use some things that we have sitting around the house. I might use some sections of wood. I might find some metal off of something else to use. So I'm just gonna walk you guys through the process of what I end up with and show you how I'm gonna make this Fender Eliminator for free. If you guys aren't already, consider to subscribe down below. Tons of Grom content and motorcycle related stuff on this page, so there's definitely gonna be something you're into. Go ahead and drop a like down below and leave me a comment of what you think about this video and if you think it's gonna work. So first things first, we're gonna pop this seat off and deal with some wiring. All right, guys, so now that we got this seat off, we're greeted by a whole bunch of wiring. Don't worry if there's anything that you don't see, because I wired in a numerous amount of accessories that you guys can check out in my other videos. I have a whole playlist dedicated to Grom mods, so if you haven't already, go check those videos out. So we're gonna have to disconnect this black wire that runs along here, and that goes to the turn signals and the light for the license plate. So right down there is just this little clip that you bend out of the way, and if you go ahead and slide that boot back, you can see this connector, this 4-pin connector underneath it. Go ahead and disconnect this so we can pull this out. Next, you want to get it out of this little white plastic clip. And now the only thing that's holding this fender on there are these 4 12mm bolts right here. So go ahead and break those loose and pull the fender out. Alright guys, so that's all there is to the DIY Fender Eliminator. Thank you guys for watching. No, I'm just playing. I saw another guy that did a video on a DIY Fender Eliminator, and that's literally all that he did. And then he even stuffed like paper into the top of the thing. I don't mean to like hate on anybody or anything, I just thought it was funny that he did it that way. That's pretty much as bare bones as it gets, not to mention illegal, number one, because he didn't even mock up a license plate light, and he didn't even have turn signals at the time. So that's just not what I'm going for here. It's gonna be kind of rigged, but it's gonna be functional, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. So I don't know if you can see this on camera very well, but I was pretty cautious when taking out these bolts because the end of these frame rails are open right here, so it can fall right down that tube. So you might want to put a piece of tape over there, wedge something in there to be sure it doesn't fall down the frame rail. Even if it did, you could probably just tilt the Grom back and wiggle it out of there. But just to eliminate that issue, make sure you don't drop them down in there, because that would probably make you pretty upset. And like I said, that boot and the cable that was along with it just slid right through that hole. And this is what we're left with on the bottom. It's pretty ugly, and I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna cover it up yet. I might mock up a piece of cardboard that fits everything, and then eventually cut out a piece of metal and try to bend it myself. But for now, I just wanna mock everything up with the turn signals and the license plate light, and kind of just get a little rough draft going here, and go back in the future and clean it up. I'm still gonna run the stock tail light with the turn signals. Another way that you could do this is to get a taillight that has integrated turn signals into it. I've really heard mixed reviews as far as those go. A lot of the models out there they have problems with, so I'm not even going to deal with that. I also like to have the safety of having the 2 full-size turn signals, so we're just going to keep that stock. But if you do want to go that route and get a different aftermarket taillight that has the turn signals built into it, this process would be a lot easier. So we got this big hunk of crap off of here. I think all of the SF Groms come with this type of license plate bracket, and as you can see, they come with a set of reflectors on them, and I'm thinking I'm going to be able to take these reflectors off and just mount the turn signals to each side. I'm not quite sure how that's going to look, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing taken apart, get everything disassembled so we can go ahead and mock it up. Alright guys, so I got the bracket off. Now it's time to get the rest of the stuff off. I'm not gonna film it, just take all the screws off and pretty much just take off everything you see because I'm gonna take this thing down to nothing. So I'll check back in with you guys after this is all done and taken apart. Look how muddy this thing is underneath there. That's hilarious. This thing's actually like somewhat sealed too. It was crazy how all that stuff got up in there. So to get the turn signals off and get the license plate light off, you're gonna wanna disconnect all of these bullet connectors. They're all color coordinated, so when you go to put them back together, just match the color and you should be fine. Wow, that hurt. All right, so I got everything taken apart, and this right here is kind of what I have in mind. Now, I'm thinking these turn signals are a little bit too far apart. It's gonna look like I got two huge antennas sticking out on each side, so I might have to make some other kind of bracket that tucks them in closer to each other. I was hoping I'd just be able to drill a hole here, so this could thread into there, put the nut on the back, do that on both sides, and then boom. I mean, that's half the battle right there. But like I said, I think it's gonna be a little bit too far apart, and it's gonna look weird, so I'm gonna have to make something that draws them closer to each other. All right guys, so it's the next day. I kind of took overnight to think about my design a bit, and I changed it up, and I'm really happy with the way this is gonna turn out. So you're probably thinking, what in the heck is this? And yes, I'm gonna be making my Fender Eliminator out of a piece of wood. Well, multiple pieces of wood. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, most woods are pretty sturdy depending on what you use. And I'm hoping to get a sub cage soon, so I won't have to worry about that anyways. But for now, we're gonna use this piece of wood. And I'm not sure about your state laws, but in the state of Ohio, you have to have a license plate light. It can't just be lit up by the tail lights. You have to have a specific light that emits a white hue. I'll probably just drill an inch hole somewhere up here, and then I'll be able to feed the cable through here, press these bolts down to make my marks, and then I'll be able to drill those and get along with the process. This is the bit that I'm gonna be using. It's actually brand new. It's a Forstner bit, and it's 1 inch in diameter, so this is gonna work beautifully. Got my 2 holes marked there. Let's go ahead and drill them out. All right, so I bored the holes out a little bit bigger. Now this should be able to just slide right in there. I'm really happy with that, guys. It's almost perfect. So if you haven't realized already, I'm gonna be putting the license plate right here. So this board's gonna sit like this, which is attached to the main license plate bracket. So basically that's what it's gonna look like when it's all said and done. I measured the gap between the 2 holes and it measured out to be 5 inches. All right guys, so this piece itself is 7 inches long. So I went ahead and marked an inch on each side, and that's where these pieces are gonna go. Because like I said, when I measured it out earlier, the 2 mounting points were 5 inches apart. All right, so now that that's all done, let's go move over here and see if everything lines up. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Oh, you f***ing wanker. Boom. No need to freak out, I'm a trained professional. We're gonna go ahead and thread that through. We're gonna reuse the original bolts because why not? And I think it'll work just fine. Slip these over here. This comes like that. All right guys, so I'm really happy with the way everything turned out, but I'm not gonna put it all together just yet. We're gonna go ahead and take everything back apart, and I'll check back in with you tomorrow with some fresh paint. All right guys, so I have it back off of the bike. I'm not sure if you could tell in the video, but I went ahead and took a pencil and traced around these turn signals and actually cut the wood out with the bandsaw. Kind of just to clean up the look a little bit, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. As you saw in those couple clips, I went ahead and threw some flat black paint on there. And honestly, unless you're up close to it, you never know it was wood. But hopefully this inspired some of you guys to do something like this on your own. If any of you guys do plan on doing this or have already done it, go ahead and send me a DM on Instagram. I'll put my name on the screen now. If you're not already, go ahead and follow me over there. I post a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and there's some more content over there that I'm sure you'll enjoy. But that's gonna go ahead and wrap up this little project. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope you learned a little bit. If you think I should have changed anything, let me know. Like I said, it's not done. I might go back and make a plate to cover up the holes on the bottom. But I hopefully should be getting a sub cage soon anyway, so I won't have to worry about that at all. But for now, it was a fun little project, and it looks a heck of a lot better. I'm open to all suggestions. I read all your guys' comments, so let me know what you want to see done to the Grom. Like I said, if you're not already, please subscribe down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next video.